From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, and this is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great because it's Monday. It's a new week, new money, as we always like to say. And, since it's Monday and you know what time it is, my co-pilot on the NFL Bet Exchange, our usual Monday correspondent, the one and only, the man himself, the Don of Cape Cod, Mr. Jeff Dawson, joins us once again. How you doing, brother? How's everything going?
We're doing okay. Had a great start to the week. A couple bumps in the middle of the week. Kind of got stung early on Saturday. Came back late on Saturday night, and our usual three-team action parlay comes out of the gates great with the Saints, and we took a swing with the Niners to win outright. And the score doesn't really show. Niners had a million opportunities. I didn't like the play calling. That coach, again, the genius he calls himself, I think put Lance in a few bad spots. But overall, it's a good, hey, we finished 6-4 for the week. It's okay. We move on. Like you said, new day, new week, new beginning. Nice to see the Braves up 3-0 right now. And life is okay, Pops.
Oh, the game I was watching was such a good, close game. Now it's 3-0. Wow. But I'm not surprised. I did feel that Atlanta was going to get better when they got home. And, they took a lot of momentum into today's game as well, too, from Saturday night where they had a shutout. So, hey, it is what it is. And the Brewers didn't look that great in game one. So, this is a pretty good series. And as we talked about before, the Braves – were the other participant in the NLCS last year. And, they could have some revenge on their mind as well, too, thinking about being up 3-1 with the possibility of going to a World Series, and could have possibly won that World Series as well, too. So, it is what it is at the end of the day. But, man, the college football world is in a flux. And reason being is because Bama went down. Bama loses 41-38 to Texas A&M, who at one point was the number 5 team in the nation. So that wasn't like a bad loss. But they did lose to a team that pretty much were put out because of 2 really bad games in a row. But say if the quarterback doesn't get hurt in the Colorado game, then things might be a little different with Texas A&M. So pretty much if Texas A&M came into this game undefeated, they probably would have been the number 3 team, number 4 team in the nation coming into this one, and this would have been huge because they would have been propelled all the way to number 1. So Texas A&M lost a lot a few weeks back, left a lot of greatness in games they should have won. But it's all good. They won this one because everybody wants to beat Bama. And, it's easy to beat Bama when you wear almost identical, the same colors as them as well, too. That's crazy how they have 4 teams in that conference that literally wear the same exact colors. Jeff, have you noticed that? Texas A&M. Who else? Mississippi State. Can't tell them apart. And then you bring in Alabama. Arkansas as well, too. And a little bit of South Carolina sometimes. Jeez Louise, I get we tell ourselves apart. But all in all, though, great win for Texas A&M. Bad loss somewhat for Bama, but it's Bama. And Bama has control over the guys that make the choices on who's going to go to these bowl games as well, too. So what are your thoughts? What do you think?
It's all in where you lose. Okay, Bama, don't forget, went undefeated last year, a shortened season, but they won the national title. They were rolling this year. Listen, they were 18-point favorites at A&M. I talked to a few Bama people over the weekend and this morning. You know, they talked about good loss, a little humble pie, a little okay. The only thing that this does, Pops, is now it's a must win against Georgia, most likely in the SEC title game, because the 2-loss Bama team isn't getting it. Okay, the way this year is shaking out. So now you got a sheet from here, which they will do, and you got to most likely face an undefeated Georgia team. Where, if that's the case, I think Georgia will have no pressure on them, because even if they lose to Bama, I said if they lose to Bama, they're still getting into the Final Four. So they could get some SEC, some extra dollars. Not that they would lose intentionally, but the point is, hey, even if we lose, we're in, and then Bama's in as well. So listen, Saban, they'll be ready. They're fine. They're fine. They'll sheet from here and go play Georgia, and it'll be a must win. But they're okay, Pops.
I will agree that Bama's okay. We shouldn't really have to worry about Alabama at this point. They have been here before, and we should have all kind of put it together when they had that tough game with Florida, that this day may come during the season where they lose a game. And good thing it wasn't Auburn at the end of the year, because that means that they will have a whole lot of, bragging and, hey, roll tide, war eagle, all that good stuff. So pretty much they took care of their business. They did what they had to do in all those seasons, and in every single one of those seasons except for one where they lost during the season to an SEC opponent, they went to the Final Four. But we do have to remember the year that Auburn did beat them, and they had the rare 2-loss season.
I'm going to interrupt, apologies, and say this as well. There was so much hype going into last week's game against Mississippi and Corral for the Heisman, and Lane Kiffin coming back home. And Alabama was locked and loaded and ready for that game. And I don't want to say it was a letdown, but no one was talking about Texas A&M. And we know Jimbo gets the boys up. And listen, A&M's a good team. So I don't want to say it was a letdown game, but it was a tough spot for Bama, I think, going with that high motivational game. Hey, we'll show Lane Kiffin, we'll show Matt Corral, who's the real boss here in the SEC, box the wire. And kind of they came out flat 24-10, rallied the troops, took the lead, but just came up short.
Hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. But we move on, and this is a team that really intrigues me, but it seems like the AAC gets a team like this every single year. The AAC is taking the place of the old Big East in college football terms, in the old college football conference of the Big East. They've taken the reins somewhat in having that team that can compete. Cincy had a milestone, legendary victory against their old ball coach, Brian Kelly, Notre Dame, last week. And then they blew away Temple. Everybody knew that was going to happen. But this team is playing up to the moment right now, Jeff. I think it's absolutely amazing right now. And it's crazy because it reminds me of years ago when Cincinnati was in late there, the last year in the Big East. They had a really, really good team. Brian Kelly was coaching this team as well, too. And they had actually won a bowl game the year before, a big time bowl, big time win. I think it was I think it was the Orange Bowl, to be exact. And they were getting really excited about Cincinnati moving forward, and then they got blew away in the Sugar Bowl that year. But that's because Brian Kelly left, blase. But this team is different. They have a mobile quarterback. They got a lot of really good players on offense. But the thing that sets them apart and makes them a really good team is their defense. Mm-hmm. And that showed up against Notre Dame big time, because they really did stun the college football world, because you're thinking to yourself, okay, it's Cincinnati. Cincinnati doesn't play against teams like Notre Dame and really can, they don't play against talented teams like this. Notre Dame is probably the most talented team outside of Bama. A lot of people don't understand that part. Only thing is that they don't have the same discipline as Alabama yet. They're getting there though. It's coming soon, but I would say that this team right here deserves every opportunity to be in the CFP if they win out, in my opinion. And I think because of who Cincinnati is historically in college football and college sports in general, they won't do them like they did the Central Floridas of the world. You know what I mean? They're just not going to do Cincinnati like that because Cincinnati's been around, They've been at the party before. But the thing is, though, they got to win out, and they got to hope that this SEC thing gets sorted out, that Georgia goes into it. Okay, let's just use best case scenario. Georgia, Bama plays for the championship. Georgia wins that game. Alabama's out. That's their way in. Alabama wins, all bets are off because Ohio State's going to run the table. We all know this. Ohio State needed to wake up. They didn't. They got a freshman quarterback. Same thing with Alabama. That's why Alabama lost too. You have a first-year quarterback, and they're not guys that are going to be NFL starters. I just hate to say it right now, but it's just the truth in the matter, Jeff, that these guys aren't going to be NFL starters at the end of the day. So they playing with great talent, and sometimes great talent just can't pick you up that day. So we got that out the way. You know what I mean? So pretty much we have ourselves a situation where I feel they're still going to get robbed, and I know you're going to say the same thing, but I feel like they're going to get robbed simply because just how college football works. You know what I mean? Ohio State one win wins the Big Ten. You're good. Okay, you'll be here. Don't worry about that. Clemson, you're out. Because Clemson could have, and Clemson's losses are two. The first loss was a good loss, okay, because it was Georgia. But when you lose to somebody, just anybody in the ACC, and you haven't lost a game in the ACC in 5 years, then no, you're not coming because ACC is if we go Power 5 and we rank Power 5, ACC right now to me is like number 4. When you get down to really number 5 out of the group, you know what I mean? Because they're not that good, the conference overall. And so you get them out the way. So what do you do from there? Georgia should be a cinch. Ohio State, one loss is possibly a cinch, and Alabama, one loss is a cinch as well too. So those 3 one-loss teams, it doesn't matter. Those teams look to be probably in here because everybody's gonna have one loss.
I mean, I'm glad you brought up UCF because that's where I was comparing Cincinnati all the way, I think, to 10 or 9. And then I think they were double-digit underdogs to Auburn that year and beat Auburn as well in the bowl game. But this year, again, with the losses we talked off the air, listen, I mean, if Iowa cheats, Iowa's in, right? If Iowa cheats, Iowa's in. I mean, Big Ten, that means they would have beaten Ohio State. So Georgia, it's going to control a lot of people's hopes and dreams, the Cincy's of the world. Iowa controls its own destiny. Oklahoma with a loss, Clemson with 2 losses, A&M obviously with a loss. There's a lot of one-loss teams who will be outside looking in. And at the end of this, Pops, it's just going to be another year where they're going to say, we got to expand this to 12 teams. And it really doesn't make any sense. So you're expanded to 12 teams. Maybe the top 4 teams get it out, and then 4 plays 12, 5 plays 11, et cetera, and then the 1 through 4s play the win. I don't know how they'd break it down, but listen, the longer you extend the seasons, the longer these kids have an opportunity to get hurt and more stuff happens. So you're seeing it already in week 5 of the NFL. These guys are dropping like flies, and I think it's because of the practicing. It's the They don't practice as hard. Now you get into game situations, the speed picks up, and these guys are just getting injured so quick. And these guys want 18-game season. That will never happen. And the same with the kids. I mean, listen, you talk about a Cincinnati team outside looking in. On a neutral field right now, Alabama would be 18, 19-point favorites against Cincinnati. Not that they don't deserve it, Pops. I'm not saying that. But we know the difference between the Cincinnati and the Alabama. And so it's all about the money and who's getting paid. And it's a tough call, Pops.
Understood, to be honest with you. And we know it's going to be a silly situation at the end of the year. But I think that they're going to tell themselves this season, we can't leave out this team because they've been really good the last few years. And we even considered BYU last year at one point. And honestly, Cincinnati will bust BYU's head wide open. And we both know this. So Cincinnati has proven the point that they can compete. That beating Notre Dame was huge because that's a CFP team. So they can use that for the resume because honestly, Notre Dame is probably going to only lose one game this season. And that was the game that they lost. They considered that a mild upset, even though Notre Dame was higher in ranking than Cincinnati. Cincinnati was 5. They was 7 going in. They're 5 or whatever, but still, they're both top 10. Regardless,
I mean, it was at Notre Dame, and Cincy was 2-point favorites.
Right.
So the Sharps knew who was the better team.
Right. And see, Central Florida never did anything like that. Ever. Central Florida was beating up on like Chattanooga State and stuff like that. And then they got some big wins over some middling Power 5 teams. Not good Power 5 teams, middling Power 5 teams at best. So, yeah, Cincy pretty much resume itself should get them in, but we'll see how it goes.
Agreed.
We'll see how it goes. All right, so let's talk a little NFL and Cards. And this is a team I don't really take seriously, but hey, might have to now. 5-0. Are they hype? Are the real thing? Are they the real thing, baby? What do you think?
They're the real thing, but they're in a tough division. Now, Russell Wilson being out 4 to 6 weeks, that helps. They already got to win against the Niners. They got to win against the Rams. All these teams get to play him again. We've talked endlessly about this coach. If this coach is coaching this team to say, hey, guys, we're 5-0, we're the best team in football right now, well, you know what's going to happen. We've seen this before. Just ask the Steelers last year that started 11-0. Okay? It's a long, long season. Listen, you can't win the championship in the first 5 weeks, but you can lose the championship. All those 1-4 teams, the Chiefs, 2-3 right now. There's some teams that are injured, banged up, and there's some teams that have holes and flaws. So are they the real deal? Yeah, they are. Why? What's the difference this year? The defense is playing off the charts. Kyler's a year older. They've added AJ Green. They got great wide receivers with Hopkins, with Kirk, with Rondell Moore. We talked about this on the Bet Exchange. So there's no excuses this year. This is win the division and, win a playoff game and move on. If the Bucks, again, put up a 45 spot yesterday, which is kind of comical, making a statement. Dallas is just winning and winning convincingly. Packers are the Packers. I don't believe in them, but they are what they are. So they're in a good spot, Pops. And yes, they are for real.
Well, hey, the Cardinals, I got to give them their props. I see them play in person. They were a damn good team. They got good leaders, man, at the end of the day. You got J.J. Watt leading the defensive side of the ball, but then he still has Chandler Jones, a guy who was a vocal leader as well, too. And then you don't have the quarterback yelling and screaming in the locker room, but you have guys like Hopkins stepping it up as a big-time leader for this team. And then, I know AJ Green is a good veteran that comes in there and has a lot of good things to tell guys as well, because regardless of anything, there was success in Cincinnati when he was there. The whole Marvin Lewis, they can say what they want about Marvin Lewis. All Marvin Lewis did was go to the playoffs. That's it. And Cincinnati, with the way with that franchise works, you would love to have that consistency for those decades and a half or so. So pretty much, I really do feel like at the end of the day, this will be some pretty good thing. Now, real quick, Jeff, quick assessment. I know we're going to talk more about it on the bet exchange, but what's your thoughts on their upcoming game this week?
Who the Cards have? Let's see who the Cards have. Hold on. The Cards, football, NFL. The Cards travel to Cleveland, coming off a loss. We'll give you the open and play. Cleveland open up -3 now, currently -2.5. This will be a great chess match here. Defenses and defenses, and then people lean towards obviously Arizona with the edge with Kyler versus Baker. I like Cleveland obviously initially in the bounce back spot here. A game they should have won yesterday at San Diego. I don't blame the refs, but I'll blame the refs here on that PI. But defensively, you can't give up that many points, especially on the road. So again, it's going to be a must-watch TV, and they even moved it to 4:00, which is great. But overall, initially, right now on Monday, I like Cleveland. I think they're going to be able to run the game, run the ball, run it effectively with Chubb and Hunt. Again, keep Baker to throw between 15 to 18, 19 times a game. The book ends with Garrett and Clowney going to be putting pressure on Kyler, but it's going to be the key to the defense to keep him in their lanes. Play in your lanes. Don't let Kyler run for 75, 80 yards. But I like the Browns here on the bounce back.
All right, so and I feel like this would be the Cardinals game where they run into their dead end. They haven't won in Cleveland in some time either, even though they haven't played in Cleveland that much, ever. You know what I mean? In their history, a lot of their last few games have been in Arizona. So last time I think the Browns and Cardinals played, the Browns had a pretty good time against them in Cleveland. So I think that will work itself out. Garrett is playing absolutely out of his mind, leads the league with 7 sacks. If he's able to have his partner with him, Clowney, everything should be good. Ward's probably going to be doubtful, but if he is a go, that should be good as well too. Those two guys being out in the game yesterday was the difference in the defense giving up all those points yesterday as well too. And if you have those guys in there, it's probably a different result. Browns probably win by blowout, to be honest with you. So, and another thing is the Browns got to get it together with the Baker and Beckham situation as well too. But Beckham's touchdown yesterday came on that drop. He had nothing but space. If he would have been able to turn the corner, he has nothing but a clear outlet. So we can't keep putting this, we can't put this on Baker. OBJ, you got to get yourself together, brother. You know what I mean? You got to stop being such a diva, man. It ain't 4 years ago anymore, man. You know what I mean? It ain't this ain't the one-handed catch against the Cowboys, bro. That time is past. That time has been well gone. Because there's been so many one-handed catches since then. What does it really matter? But all in all, let's go ahead and get to our first commercial break. And when we get back, we'll go ahead and we'll talk some baseball and we'll talk some Monday Night Football. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime ALDS Bets.
The Viget app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Viget is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Viget.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
All right, we're back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live. And up first, let's go ahead and talk about a fun one. And that sucks today that game was rained out as well, too, Jeff. The White Sox Astros game, because the White Sox finally won a game. You know, I thought they was gonna get the split in Houston, and then they got. I think this was going to happen. Houston's ran into this a few times in the American League playoffs. They win the first two at home, then they drop the road games, and they come back and win at home. I think that's what's going to set up here with the White Sox and the Astros. But Rays and Red Sox, Jeff, talk to me about what's going on with the hand signals. What's up with that?
With the what?
Hand signals. They tried to throw that out there with 75 other stories that were going on at the same time.
It's always something, you know that. It just, again, when teams are in the same division and they played each other 19 times a year, they're throwing the fact that ground rule double last night was, a made up rule when they play in a stadium where if you hit one ring, it's a double. If you hit the second ring, it's a triple. And if you hit the third ring, it's a homer, and you got banners, catwalks. I mean, the place should be blown up. I mean, I've never seen. Listen, I've been a Red Sox fan my whole life. I've never seen that. Right field, yes, I've seen it hit the wall, spin up, and go over. We've seen that a million times. I've never seen it out in the where the bullpen is, hit the wall, spin. That had so much spin, hit the ground, hit the guy, and bounce over. I've never seen that. And just amazing game. And listen, I'll be the first to admit it. I had a hard time believing the Sox being able to match up against the Rays. The Rays are relentless. They just keep coming. They just throw arms after arms after arms. Down 0-1. Chris Sale, the savior, comes up. We get 2 in the first. He gives up 5 in the first. And then from that point on, if you told me the Sox would be up 2-1 now, their bats woke up that game. They put up, 12, 14 runs, whatever it was. And then yesterday just battled. Had the game won until the 8th. And their bullpen's been better right now. So you better win it tonight, though. You don't want to go back to Tampa and have to deal with that mess. So Erod versus, I forget even who's pitching.
McHugh. Who used to pitch for the Astros.
Each manager, hey guys, can you get us through the order once? That's what the goal is. Just get us through the order once, and we'll take it over from there. Surprised the Sox are favored. Again, must win from a 100-win Raid team. So, you know what? There's a chance, Pops. And listen, I'd like to see the White Sox win this, get it to 5 games. Those Astros are horses. I mean, they just, again, their offense is elite, and they just destroy bullpens. But it was a great game last night for the White Sox. Rained out today. They'll be back at it tomorrow. So go Sox tonight, and then go Sox tomorrow. How's that?
Sounds good to me, sir. Sounds good to me. All right, so we'll move on. Let's go ahead and talk about the Blue Crew. Blue Crew. You already know what time it is. Hey, Holy War. California, NorCal versus SoCal, Brooklyn versus Uptown. Hey, it never ends. Man, Max Scherzer is on the mound tonight. Former Dodger Alex Wood is on the mound tonight for the Giants. This should be a good game. Dodgers got the full scouting report on Alex Wood. Let's be honest, Mad Max is dominant, but it's getting to the end of the season. He's old, and it's starting to catch up a little bit with him that the end of the season is here. And he's pitched a lot of games. He's putting in a lot of work this year, and he hasn't been as consistent as we're used to the last 4 games. So you hope that Mad Max comes into this one and plays with, the same aggression, but he gets those strikeouts that he was getting when he got to LA. So then he doesn't have to overwork himself tonight. Because the thing is, though, if he gets into a little bit of trouble, Dave Roberts already showed that he isn't scared to pull him, and literally pulled him. And that was the difference in that inning when he pulled Scherzer out the game with runners on base. So tonight, I expect Scherzer to breathe a little bit and really figure out ways to just get outs. I think he was pressing too hard for the strikeouts, and I think tonight he just goes for outs and tries to get these guys out as quick as possible. Now, the Dodgers hitters erupted Saturday night, and it was the table setter was the pitcher, Julio Urias. So I don't expect Mad Max to do anything like that, but I do expect another big moment from Cody Bellinger, because Cody Bellinger was the difference in that game Saturday night with that 2-run double that he had as well too. So I expect him to be really good tonight and get something big at the stadium. What are your thoughts going into this game, Jeff?
I thought of you when we released the Dodgers in the series. We got them at -155. We expected a split in San Fran, which we got. You got Mad Max tonight, -200. Again, that's the benefit and the glory of playing these series plays. Fully expect the Dodgers to win tonight. This is why you brought them over here. This series, let's get this straight right now. In no way in hell do you want to go back to San Fran. We talked about 6 months, you catching this team, and you couldn't. Okay, and didn't. You had to play the extra game against the Cards. You lost the first game in the series against San Fran. You won game 2. You're back home in front of your fans with Mad Max on the mound. Do not ruin this spot here. Win the game, win it convincingly. Get ready for game 4. Do not leave LA without the series won, and get ready for the Braves or the Brewers.
Strong thoughts. Dodgers should be good tonight, but the Giants are always pesky. This is a great series, by far the best we've had of this young decade. So we'll see how it goes. But I just keep feeling like we'll get that 5th game, and winner takes all in San Francisco. So
you shouldn't have to get that far. You should not have to get that far. Saturday
showed a lot of people that, you know what, the Dodgers are the better team in every way, because they don't need lucky situations. If the Dodgers get into a rhythm and just get a couple people on base, a big hit's going to come eventually, and then a big run of runs is going to be coming as well too. So it is what it is at the end of the day. Dodgers, tough spot tonight, game 3. It should be a good one. All right, so we move forward, and we have ourselves the Monday Night Football game tonight. Jeff, what are your thoughts on this one going in? We already talked about it on the NFL Bet Exchange, but what are you thinking about tonight since we're 4 days later?
It's a tough game in this aspect. Ravens are starting to put things together. Coming back home, they play really highly motivated at home in front of the home crowd. It's a number where They're basically trying to tell you right now 27-20. That's the final score. So I like to say, can the Colts get to 21, 23, or 24? Wentz's ankles are being taped with duct tape to keep him upright. I mean, they're going to need a big game from Taylor as well. Win the turnover battle. Keep Lamar, in check. Don't let Marquise Brown buy you. I think the Ravens win. I think the Colts can be pesky and keep it close and cover the 7 or 7.5 that we have. We bought the hook, I think, on the bet exchange. But again, listen, if we talk tomorrow, I wouldn't be shocked either if the Ravens won this game 31-13, 31-17, because they have that explosiveness. They are at home, and they see what happened to the Chiefs last night on primetime, and they know that most likely to win this championship, it's going to go through Buffalo, and they had that opportunity, and there was the pick 6 last year. So keep that in front of you as motivation as well. But it should be a pretty good game, Pops.
I think that the Colts are, with getting that win last week, they built up a lot of confidence because they fell short against Tennessee, and that was kind of a bummer. But they had 2 really tough opening games at home. Those games were difficult. They were tough games to win. Seattle, very, very, very tough game. And this is healthy Seattle. Now they come in here against the Ravens, and their defense should be taken a little bit more seriously. They haven't given up 30 points this season. That's something that you can tip your cap to, and that's something that the Ravens. To me, if the Ravens don't get 30 on you, they have a lot of issues when they can't score a lot of points. You know what I mean? When they have to be in a game where they have 10, 17 points in the fourth quarter, they tend to be struggling a little bit in that game as well, too. And I think tonight that Wentz, with the way that they played last week and the week before, there's confidence brewing more and more each week in that locker room. And as you said before, Jeff, it's a wide open division in the AFC South. There are no guarantees that the Titans are going to get it. You saw yesterday that the Titans were having issues with the Jaguars until they messed up that 4th and short at the goal line yesterday. Because if the Jaguars score right there, they probably go off and win the game later on because they were building momentum. The crowd was into it, everybody going crazy. So I like the Colts tonight. They can be a tricky money line play. Plus 250, some good value tonight. You'll catch a lot of people slipping. The Ravens have 90% of the bets going in tonight as well, too. And to me, the Ravens are not a good 3-1. They should be 2-2 because the Detroit game should have been a loss. But there's a lot of things that worked in their favor at the end point of that game. So there it is. There it is. So this is a great game tonight. And let's go ahead and see what I got on the Talkin Tickets for tonight, Jeff. And we talking them tickets, Jeff. And I know that it's almost like a censor sign right now, but hey, it is what it is. And actually, I need to add in a piece because we have some other stuff going on, but this isn't even right. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that, y'all. That's not even right, man. That wasn't even correct. Oh, I got it right here. Let me go ahead and get that. Get right stuff. Jeff, you can tell it's Monday. This is the day where you got that guy walking around the office with his 4th coffee. He's been there since 8, and it's 12:45. He has his 4th coffee. He doesn't go to lunch till 2 because that's his choice. So he walks around with the coffee so he can, man, what a weekend. All right, so American League. So for the AL bets tonight, Jeff, I'm going to go. I know they're going to be mad at me in Boston tonight, but I'm taking the Rays 105 tonight. I think that they find a way. And then I have the 1.5 on the Rays tonight. I think they win by 2 or more runs because just MLB. I don't think they're gonna let them just not win tonight with that allegation going. We're gonna settle this 1-5, fellas. And then I say yes, score first inning because both these pitchers are liable to give up some runs to start this game off as well too. So I have that as well. Then I have the NL tonight over 7.5, over 4. Dodgers over 4 runs. Yeah, pretty basic. I know. Pretty homerish. I know. Homering. Joe. All right. So yeah, I'm doing that in the National League. And then tonight, Monday Night Football bets. Give me the Colts plus 7.5. Give me the under 46. The plus 4.5 on the Colts first half. And that's it. Single what you like, Jeff.
Single life.
Okay. Yes. So go ahead, single what you like, and that's where we're going with this one right here. So we have ourselves a good night of sports once again, just like last night and Saturday, and a lot of people should be very excited. We got the baseball game coming up, and oh well, my bad, that game got canceled. That game got canceled. Sorry, it got postponed. Bad Chicago weather. Damn Chicago. You know, you guys know that you guys should have yourself a stadium with some type of retractable roof to it, but it is the south side of Chicago too. So you know that's you don't want to ask for too much over there. You know what I mean?
Pat,
Then you have to help.
I'm going to interject for a second here because I flipped over. I didn't feel like watching the Kansas City game. I'm a baseball guy, and though I'm following it on my phone. But my point is, you turned on that South Side, as you just said, the White Sox game. They all were dressed in black, which was great. The players, though, the headbands, the do-rags, the chains hanging out. And I was just like, man, it was like they played. I mean, it was nice to see, and I know a lot of these guys, this is who they are. This is where, they're taking their city proud here. And you just don't see that in a lot of teams. It's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of shaking their head, like making it look, I don't know how to explain this, but it was kind of cool to see. And I wish it was against the Cubs because it would have really brought it out. The Astros are the corporate Astros, and they are what they are. But I kind of like the Cubs.
Yeah, they just over there representing for the city, just reflecting of what they see when they go outside of the stadium and everything as well. So that's pretty awesome in itself. And that's always been like the city team. I think that the Cubs are more of like the state of Illinois' team, but that's the city team right here, the neighborhood team, the Chicago White Sox. They've always been like that. And they got their own little group and community of people that are just, love the White Sox and can't stand the Cubs. Because the Cubs that's a tourist game. That's a tourist people game. You go to Chicago, you're doing baseball season. You want to go to a Cubs game because you want to be around Wrigley, the Wrigleyville, you know what I mean, and all that good stuff. But I think that when you really want to go down there and watch a baseball game with the people of the city, like the workers, the all the workers, legal and illegal workers, and pretty much the young people of the neighborhood and things of that nature, and people that just live around that area, you know what I mean? And pretty much I don't think you have too many bells and whistles around there. I can't call it for that area because I know that Chicago differs in different areas because I heard I was in Chicago, but I didn't get around Chicago. You know what I mean? So it's different. So next time I go, I'll make sure that I get around so I can have more, so I can explain myself better. So all in all, another great show with you, Jeff. I look forward to seeing you Thursday. I know that it's going to be all bad for me. I don't even care about the result at the end of the night tonight, to be honest with you. I know if that's great if the Colts cover, but it's not going to do me any favors because I've already had a bad week. I've already the weekend was absolutely dreadful, especially in that second half of the day as well too. So with that, I want to thank you so much for joining us once again today, Mr. Dawson. And it's always a pleasure. Do you have any final words before we leave?
No, look forward to it. As always on Thursday with the Bet Exchange. NFL, listen, NFL, I can't explain this any more to anyone that wants to listen. And listen, if you think you're going to get rich on the NFL, you're just fooling yourself. And then anyone that turns to you and says, I'm an NFL betting expert, this is my main sport, this is where I make it rich, just run and run real fast. Okay. I'm telling you, the $1 billion resorts and casinos are built on the NFL and NFL Sundays. Take your shot. Don't go over your skis. And just remember this. Once the final gun is shot on Sunday night, you wake up and it's Monday morning and it's a whole new week. If you want to single out the Monday games, you want to single out the Thursday, and you want to give yourself a little action on Sunday, maybe a 1 o'clock, maybe a 4 o'clock, and sprinkle in the late game. You're not going to make it. You're not going to get rich on the NFL Sunday. And if you try, just keep trying because it ain't going to happen. So there are so many other things out there. You got the MLB playoffs. You got the college football. You got the NBA and NHL about to start. Okay. And then November 1st comes, and guess what? The kids are starting to play college hoops. I'll be front row, season ticket holder to UConn. November 9th, my birthday pops, turn double fives, 55. But I'll be at UConn stores. I'll be hanging with Coach Hurley, and we'll be getting ready for a game. And the season starts. So there's so much more to be looking forward to.
Hanging with Coach Hurley. I heard that you about to be a part of the staff. What are you talking about?
Hey, listen, I
should. I know I'm going to see your ESPN chewing a guy out, knowing that you took UConn and you need them to win by 2. You need to hit this free throw, kid.
I'm telling you this, okay? Listen, I know we'll have our Big East and we'll be talking college hoops soon too, but I am telling you this, Villanova is a wagon, and that's all you're going to hear about. But just go to your futures ticket and jump on UConn at plus 150 to 1 or something and just enjoy the ticket because this team is going to be like the old school Big East. If you get 60 on them, you had a good day. They are long, and they're going to control the boards. They got Ayuk back. They got some great kids coming in. Plus last year's class, they're going to be a fun team to watch.
And got to watch out for Georgetown too.
Yeah,
Georgetown is going to be good next year. They got all the goofballs out of there. Now they got guys that understand that they student athletes and that this ain't to get you to the NBA. This is just to get you a good education. And if the NBA falls into place, that's good for you. You know what I mean? But hey, that's what it is. But all in all, we got people to see, things to do today. It's Monday. So once again, we thank you guys very much for tuning in. And I'll be back tomorrow at noon to talk some more and go over some more MLB and NBA and all that good stuff for you guys. So you guys make sure to tune in for that. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and the Don of Cape Cod himself, Mr. Jeff Dawson. As I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. And if you got a hunch, bet a bunch. The movement is moving, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.